Well, hello.
Howdy,
Welcome.
everybody.
Yeah. Welcome to your Wednesday night. We're back on the old name for now in lieu of a better one. RC Tiny Truck Fab Garage episode live with Ryan and Kelly. Kelly and Regis. Regis and Kathy. Whoever
Regis
decides
and
to show
Kelly? What are we talking about tonight, Regis?
up. Well, funny you should ask. We'll get into that, I think, in a minute.
Is it Regis or Beavis?
If it's us, it's Beavis and Butthead.
I'll pull my shirt up if that's the case.
I did a little bit of maintenance on this, not cosmetic today. I noticed we're getting right into the F86 life.
Let's go.
I was going to say, if you're new here, I'll tell you what we're about, but no one here is new. Thanks for coming by, everybody, in the chat. This is the first time I've scheduled one ahead of time where there was a thumbnail and stuff like that. And it's paying huge dividends, I can tell. But finally, after all this time, this is my first SEX6, Kelly. The pins and the universals, like they did for us on the FMS stuff.
Oh, they coming out?
It wallered loose a little bit, and I could see it dug a trough in some of the plastic. And I didn't have to take anything apart to press them back in. I used channel locks. I put a little bit of Loctite in there just for why not.
Right.
And pressed them back, and they're good to go.
Nice. I think Kirk told me not long.
We could design a little retainer for that.
Yeah, there's got to be a workaround on that for sure. Kirk actually mentioned to me a few weeks ago that he had one of his coming loose too.
I think we can make something that would
click. We need to figure something out. Yeah,
click on and roll. Especially now since you're a Fusion 360 expert.
Dude, I just
kindergarten CAD.
I just literally like downloaded that this afternoon late and started playing with it, watched some videos, follow along with some things. It really doesn't look that difficult. There's a lot there. But for the most part, it's all keystrokes. It's pretty easy, really.
YouTube University. And from what I hear is once you know one of these programs, they all would be fairly easy. But I don't know. I know exactly many. So I've got a long way to go.
Right.
But I think it's doable. And that tutorial the other day, I mean, man, made it look really easy. Hey, who's in the passenger seat? Is that Cheryl Ladd? Is that Cheryl Ladd from television's Charlie's Angels?
Dude, wow, Bill, I was in your fly-in the other night, Monday night.
I was too busy flying I was gonna tell Bill because he didn't know that was you.
Yeah, Venture 1220, man.
Yeah, Bill, Venture. He was flying tight circuit. Were you flying fixed position or chase?
Dude, I did both.
I could tell when you were flying fixed because you stayed close to the runway.
Yep. And then I moved into chase, and then I was chasing you. I think I hit you a couple times, and you put me out.
That'll happen.
Right? That big honking T6 you were flying. Low and slow, bro.
Dude, I'm cranking it in the rudder's your friend, bro. Give me a roof, I'll land on it. I don't care.
Dude, I was trying to follow you, and I kept running off of stuff, and dude, I was crashing nonstop.
That was a pretty hectic place, but I managed to knife edge through some skinny spots a couple times. And man, listen, the coupling on a Warbird, it is not made for what I'm doing with it. But that's the
dude. I saw you at one point. You went towards something, and I think it was one of the wires on that crane. And right at the last second, you've 90'd and went right through there like slicing bread. And I'm like, man, look at him go.
I mean, thank goodness it's a sim,
right?
But
I remember.
I'm either going to hit this or go for it. I'm just like, boom. And you know, if I went for the knife edge early, then you got to get yourself back in with the elevator now as your rudder, and you got to get in there.
Right.
I'm like, let me just wait for last minute because there won't be a whole lot of correction to do. There won't be time for it, and I'll either make it through or I won't.
Yeah, that was a good time, and that was a tricky spot to fly in for sure.
Definitely.
Was
that's a fun time.
Was Pete in that? Was he flying too with us?
I don't think so. If he was, I wasn't sure.
Gotcha.
He would have hit us up. He would have told us, I think.
CVO was flying there, wasn't he?
Yep, CVO was flying. Wild Bill flies at the end of it because he's busy emceeing during the thing. What's up, Dwayne? Everybody in the chat. Hello. Yeah, and we got a lot of new people getting ready to come into that. We've got some surface guys from the Urban Legend crew getting into planes. They've already got them.
Yeah.
Wanting to get some stick time on the simulator with us. Super pumped.
I think, who was it that said they had 3 of them the other night? 3 planes already.
Probably Lyndon.
I think it was. Now you say that.
He likes to stockpile things. You know, if you ever need a power system, the running joke is he's sitting on a handful.
Dude, it's so awesome to see the surface guys coming over to the air side, and then, you know, some of us air guys moving over into the surface stuff. It's crazy.
And then becoming deluxe fabsters.
Yeah, no kidding.
You guys, we're going to wait a minute for some more folks, and then we're going to tell you something that was pretty exciting this week that happened yesterday. Should one of us, me or you, should look and see how many it's got?
You go ahead, bro, because for some reason when I look at it, I can't see like how many total views there are on it.
The best way to go is to click onto their homepage, and then you can see the amount
on Facebook.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So if I go to their page,
dude, it's got to be over 3 bills.
It's pretty crazy. How did I do it before? Oh my gosh.
Where are we at? Where's it at?
344,000 views.
That's crazy.
4,800 likes. And it has 130 comments and 224 shares.
Dude, that's amazing for that short video like that to pull that in. That's absolutely amazing.
Why it pulled is because of what it is. You guys want in on it? You want us to tell you what it is? Bro, Kelly's Blazer that he's got sitting in front of him right now, that's the prototype big SCX6. That was the first one you had done.
I think you guys have seen this, you know. I had this on the show when I was still putting it together.
Yeah. Well, he made another one and gave it to one of our buddies that went to Beat the Creek, works at Horizon on the social media side and content. And they posted up yesterday. It was yesterday after work. It was like the end of the day yesterday. Posted up one little short. It's on Facebook, like a reel, Instagram. It's a YouTube short. It's probably on TikTok, wherever you follow Horizon. And that joint went off. And today, 24 hours and some change later, it's got 344,000 views, 224 shares, 130 comments. I think 100 of them are me and you.
Yeah.
Go check it out and look at the comments. See how many people asked to where they could get this body. Kelly's work right there on display for the whole world to see, and the whole world saw it twice.
Dude, I gotta tell you, I'm just amazed and shocked by the fact that, you know, I'm not, like I said before on this show, a few weeks ago. I'm not the pioneer of this, but I had a vision of I can't stand a honcho body, so hey, I got a 3D printer now. Let's go find some files and start blowing stuff up and trying it. And here we are, man. It's crazy. Everybody's wanting to do it, and I love it, man. I absolutely love it.
I've seen bodies, I've seen customs, I've seen all kinds of stuff, but I never saw anybody have the audacity to do it on a 6 scale and nail it. And then, you know, we've all been learning as we go, and it's not been that long. And man, wow, how impressive. And then, and cars are classic. I mean, we love our airplanes, and you and I both fly them, but it's a different. Not everybody has hands-on experience, or grandfather or dad or nephew or uncle or aunt, you know, who grandmother who ferried him over, you know, not everybody's got that connection to planes the same way, but cars are super, they're pop culture. You know,
Right.
like Andy Warhol soup cans, right? It's Campbell soup, it's pop culture. And that's what cars are, especially classic trucks and square bodies and things like that. I mean, it's definitely pop. You know, the airplane, it's like the organic bottom shelf, never heard of it before, made from the Azure Mountains in, you know, Sri Lanka. It's a little weird. It's different. Not as many. But anyway, that thing it hit large, and it's still hitting. And that's up there with a whole lot of the, you know, other viral posts that are on that page.
You know, the thing I like about the vehicles versus the planes is that, you know, I have a lot of idle time on my hands, and I don't have kids, got an amazing girlfriend, got an amazing dog, but I have a lot of idle time on my hands early in the morning or late in the evening, and I tinker with these things, and I gotta always be constantly like working on something, coming up with something different, coming up with something new, kind of like the bug truck here. And it's there's so much joy to it, because when you make something like one of these bodies, it's yours. Nobody else has got it. It's unique, it's custom, and it's just cool. And I love sharing it with everybody in the hobby. I just do. You know, it's just great.
It's killer, man. And what a neat way to you know, we didn't make it to beat the swamp, beat the creek, whatever,
Yeah, no kidding.
beat the bog. We didn't make it, but one of your creations did. And so it was fun talking with Pete as he was getting that one finished up. So you sent him the parts, he assembled and did the finish work, and he did a great job.
A ton of credit goes to Pete. He worked and worked and worked. I don't know. When we get him in here, we need to find out, but it's like, how many hours has he got on his to completion? Because it
Yeah.
looks fantastic. You know, it's different than what mine is.
It looks good, and I
It
want to white
does.
glove drill sergeant that thing, dude. I want to check it out.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Dude.
But it looked fantastic to me. It looked really good, and you and I both saw some pictures of it along the way. And yesterday, I think you and I's phones were blown up a little bit. TJ and Pete, you know, a little bit of back and forth, and I saw some more pictures of the project as it was nearing completion, and then a couple of little screen grabs from some messages that TJ was getting, which is pretty exciting. There's some big names watching that Horizon social. And of course, their first name basis with these guys that are out there, Pete and TJ, getting things done, capturing this content. So I don't know if I'll go there, but dude, I told you.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing the level of enthusiasm and interest.
Yeah. Look how many
that's
people want that
gone into
body.
this.
Look how many people want it and got excited about it. Now, the minute we tell them it's $2,000,
like, no.
it'll be different. But there's always make a wish.
Nah, but you know what though? I did the right thing with Pete, and said, you want one of these, brother? I'll print it out on my brand new big machine. It won't take long. And shipped all the parts to him. He was super happy with the fidelity of the print. And I actually sat down and wrote out on my computer like 3 or 4 pages of specific instructions.
Oh wow, he got more than I got
to put it together, because I did 2 small ones prior to this big one and figured out what the best way to make it happen was. And so I decided to share that with Pete. Yeah, Brian, you know what? You're like the king around here of RC planes and now cars. So I was like, you know what? Let's just see what this guy's got, man. Let's see if he can put this thing together. So yeah, I gave you a box of bad goods, bro.
Original grandpa.
Yeah.
OG.
Yeah.
Excellent. I mean, and anybody who puts one of these together and it comes out looking good, you just know they're a good modeler,
Right.
or they're tenacious, because
sure.
It's not super easy. It's not easy on the 10 scale ones either, but dude,
I think bro, I keep saying that. I think the 10 scale ones are even harder because everything's smaller. These big trucks are a lot easier to sand on and a lot easier to put together, in my opinion.
Well, even the small parts here, I can hold them.
Right.
Like, exactly. You know how the print, since we're not using resin, the small stuff is where you really lose fidelity.
Right.
Handles and wipers and light bezels and stuff.
For sure.
Dude, because they're 6 scale, they're actually big enough for me to hold it and do what I like to do and sand them. And man, I sanded and epoxied the doorknobs, the gas cap, the badge work, sanded, epoxied, sanded again, painted silver. And now all the little stuff that would have crazy lines looks pretty good. And if this was 10 scale, you couldn't do it. That won't show.
Yeah.
If it was 10 scale, you couldn't get a hold of it to finish it.
Exactly. No, these big ones are a lot easier to work on, man, and put together. But you're right. I'm glad that I did what I did with Pete, though, because I gave him those box of parts. He put it together on his own time. He finished it the way he wanted it. He painted it the colors he wanted. And he's super proud of it, super happy with it. And I couldn't be any happier for him, to tell you the truth. I mean, I'm stoked.
You got it done in time, too, to get it out there and play.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to him coming in here because I got questions for him.
Anytime he's ready, I'll bring him in. From what I've gathered, he thrashed on it pretty good.
That's some of the questions I want to ask him.
And I think there's going to be a video from them.
Yep.
Where we're going to get to see.
Yep. Yeah, I think he actually said that he was going to have to reprint a few pieces. So I don't know exactly what all happened, but I think him and TJ thrashed on that thing hard.
Hey, chamfer where they go back together, fill it with CA, file it, repaint.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I got my big Land Rover sitting right over here that, you T-boned me, and dude, it took me like 5 minutes to put it back together. And it actually doesn't look like it even got hit. So I'm pretty happy with that.
You remember the Travelall? I broke the front clip really bad the first day. Because I hit a hill that didn't move.
Yeah.
And then hit it again same day. Still drove out of the woods. Fixed it, bamboo skewers, epoxy. Everything we've had is broken, but still got out of the woods. We'll see how Pete did on getting out of the woods. You ready, dude? Let's go.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Pete?
Not much.
What's happening,
not much. Just still recovering from last weekend. But,
You beat the ball?
Well, yeah, because obviously we were at Beat the Creek, and you guys know it turned into an absolute shit show. I mean, everybody did a great job taking care of us while we were there, but yeah, the weather did not cooperate. So we had gotten my car out to the campsite where me and all my buddies were staying, and we unloaded everything. I brought like a dozen cars, way too many, so we had no way to get that back on the way back on Sunday. So we carried everything all the way back to the car in like the general parking area that was about a quarter mile away through the mud and everything. So yeah, it was fun.
Man, hiking around is enough to take it out of you a little bit, but when your feet don't want to follow you is another deal.
Oh, dude, it was, yeah. I mean, it was up to your ankles everywhere you went, man. Just because, I mean, the traffic started, and we were in a big cow pasture. I mean, that's nice when it's dry and we had lush grass, but that disappeared really quick.
Dude, it went from grass to mud like in hours.
Dude, instantly. Yeah, it was awesome.
It's
crazy how you can have such terrible conditions and still have a great time. It's just people that were out there, a bunch of crawler dudes having a good time out in the rain, man.
Heck yeah. So you meant
how many people came?
Say it again?
How many folks showed up?
All right, so I would say from what I saw, I mean, I've heard a ton of different numbers from anywhere from like 100 to like 4,000, but I would say conservatively there was probably 2,500 people that wanted to show up and camp there, which I mean, for two big cow pastures, man, that's a lot of people, especially when it's rainy and wet like that. So yeah, I mean, most people got pulled out with a tractor. There were some people who were successful without it, but yeah, I mean, you got anything other than flat ground, you were slipping sliding.
So you're slipping and sliding in the septic backup system, right?
For cows, it's natural. Grass fed. It's a little
Comes
more
with the territory.
Yeah.
Nice. So you mentioned to me the other day that you might have to 3D print a couple parts for the Blazer.
Just lenses, actually. Now that I look at it, I lost a couple lenses on the trail. Other than that, it was just glue joints.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had a big, nice aluminum bumper, or a hitch for it, because I got a little 6-scale trailer for my Jetstream jet boat, so I can carry that around behind it. But I had a big aluminum hitch that I was gonna glue and bolt onto the back of it. That was gonna save my back bumper from the approach angle, so it would hit a nice hitch instead of the back bumper. But we didn't get that in time. That showed up on Monday.
Yeah, you were working probably last minute to get done, weren't you? How
I finished it. I finished the final airbrushing on it, like the trim parts and the black on it. I finished that Thursday afternoon. So yeah, it was. I mean, and we left Friday. So
midnight oil.
Yep.
Little midnight oil.
Yeah, because and that's the thing. It's like with all the other events that I usually plan to go to getting canceled, it was like, well, this is the event. This is, aside from what we plan with our buddies and stuff, this was the formal event that we were going to get to go to this year. So I was like, oh, well, yeah, we'll get it done. So
was there, I imagine there was a lot of people that pivoted to Beat the Creek that were maybe going to go to Badlands.
I feel like that's the case. I feel like that's why they had such a big turnout. Like they said, they had to turn people away on Saturday because they were just overcrowded. They mowed a second pasture just for the amount of campers that they had because they were so over capacity. So, yeah, dude, they had mowers out just mowing an extra field just so they could have space for campers. They did an awesome job.
I saw a comment on that post that said, why would you pay to go do what you can do for free anywhere? And I'm just like, I didn't even justify it with a response because the answer is the community of all those people like-minded coming together.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, not to mention that, I mean, it was $40 for the weekend for an entry fee. And then I think it was like $20 for a camp spot. I'm like,
it's cheaper than staying home.
Yeah. Right. Seriously. Right.
Yeah.
You fill up your tank of gas and you go do one or two things, man, you're right there. So, and that's a Friday for most people.
Right. So. It kind of reminds me when these, big get-togethers happen and how cleansy and how clean everybody is and how much everybody respects everybody's stuff. It's kind of like ever since I've been a little kid, I've always went to Oshkosh every year. The last few years, I've kind of slipped on going. But it's amazing when you get that many people together that share the same interest, and how much people actually just respect each other. It's fantastic. Such a great community.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I told you guys both already that, I had a little tent set up, little table, just, kind of a base camp area next to my buddy's camp. And we had the Blazer sitting out front there. And I mean, every single person stopped. I don't think there was one person that passed it that noticed it, that didn't stop, but just like, what is this thing? So it was awesome. We talked to a bunch of people, and it's definitely a conversation starter, and it was definitely a showstopper too. It's just, it was great driving it by people, because number one, just that it's out there, that people have never seen anything like that before, but that it's tromping through the mud and getting covered. People are like, what are you doing? This is what we built it for, man.
I love that post.
I built it. I know how to build it again.
Yeah,
that post was awesome. I mean, nothing crazy, but like, let's get those, let's see those wheels moving. And I'm really glad you had it to put in the truck, because I think so many times when we film these things, or I do the thumbnails on our videos with them, you don't get the gravity of how big this is. So I'm really glad you gave that perspective by, as simple as it is, just to be putting it in the truck. I mean, it's like, this is a monster.
Yep.
And then I saw in that post, somebody commented, they posted up their 6-scale Willys. That's the 6-scale Willys. It's the same size as a 10-scale anything else.
Yeah.
We are not built the same.
Yeah.
Man, it made us wish we were there for sure. You can miss me with the mud, but it'd have been fun.
Yep. And it's everybody was asking me like, oh, how did it do? I was like, well, it did okay. It was definitely a squawk run for it, because I had just got the thing together. So to be able to figure out, okay, I need to reinforce this. I need to, maybe print off a couple more of these, or, whatever the case may be. But it was good to get some mud on it. Honestly, it's. Have you ever seen? There's these guys that they completely frame up, restore Land Rovers, and they make them look absolutely beautiful. These guys out in the UK, and once they finish each truck and they finish the paint and it's all buffed out and beautiful, they take a key and just nick the back quarter panel of it, and they're like, there, now it's done. Now it's done. And I love that aspect of it. I had it perfect. I'm like, all right, now we got to get it scratched up. It's not done until you get it scratched up.
That's right. I mean,
for
you
sure.
can go crazy getting it right, and then it's like, when you rub up against a stump or a rock or whatever, get it dirty, and it's like, all right, now it's done.
Yep. So it's definitely got its war, and the fact that we got it on camera, TJ's nuts, because it was supposed to be just us going out and having fun. Horizon didn't fund us to be out there. It was just a group of Horizon employees that wanted to go out and hang out and check out the event. And TJ brought his cameras, and TJ does what TJ does. He can't stop working. I call it his jobby. Is content creation and videography, so he couldn't help but do what he loves to do, which is get the cameras out and shoot it. So yeah, you're right, we have a bunch more footage of it. TJ's working on it right now. He's killing me because he has the footage and I don't, so I haven't seen any of it.
Dude,
but yeah, we should have some more. We should have like a little bit of a feature come out on it, as far as the day us going out and running it and having a good time with it.
Dude, I've told Kelly, not every time we go out, but I've definitely told him, I was like, bro, I don't even want to film this stuff.
Yep.
But I can't not do it.
Yep.
Like, you have, I mean, especially with these, for me, because we went out with a bunch of 10-scale ready runs, and there were times we didn't film, but these things, every one of them is such a labor. Yeah. And then just the audacity to think of it and go for it in the first place. And so it's like, dude, how can we not capture this? So at this point, I just know I'm filming these, and I'm glad to. And we all are. And man, I got to give Kelly mad props for even opening the door for me to even think this was something possible. Because if he wasn't doing it, I mean, you can't keep up with Kelly, right? I mean, he's got 8 or 9 of these right now.
Yeah, I got a few of them sitting around.
It's nice to have that push and then see that it can happen, and then bounce these ideas off. We kind of mount our stuff up a little different. Like, I'll use some of the same parts he uses, you got that click mount on the front, that like quick release.
I was going to ask you, Pete, how did you mount the front of yours? Because you're using the shoulder bolts in the back, right?
I'm using the shoulder bolts in the back, and then honestly, I ran out of time. What I was going to do is I was just going to adapt the standard mount that the Honcho has, and just use the body mounts and clips. But I did get enough time, so I just threw a bunch of Velcro underneath the dash and mounted it to the motor, and it stuck in real nice. So literally, a piece of Velcro around the motor, and then a piece of Velcro on the top of the dog box, and they just slapped right together, held it together through the trail, so it worked just fine.
Brother, I was so thinking you were going to say zip ties.
I was thinking about it. I was like, I could just probably get a zip tie through the grill, hook it to the bumper, and then that way I know it'll stay. But I was like, nah, I can't do that to this truck.
So Kelly's using these quick click
release
on the cross member in the front.
Clipless body system, right?
Yeah. So and he does that, and then like L bracket pivots back there at the rear cross member, and you can pivot it up, get to the battery.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always last minute guy myself. So I'm up till the wee hours the night before whatever session we're going on. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to use this, but I don't want any play at all. So I'll use this, and I'll key it in with this hard pressed up against it, no play at all, and screw the bed down through the cross member. So I got 2 hardcore bolts on the back. There's no way this can move. I can't use it to open it anyway. And then I double it up with zip ties also. So I'm keyed in at the front, screwed in at the back, and zip tied, which is
certified.
The only reason I'm able to full throttle crash a dude and only crack my bumper. I drive out in one piece every time.
I'll tell you a story about that too. So we had a guy, just like there was like a little concession area, and he pulls up with his SCX6. He's got a cool Coyote body on it, and he's sitting there talking to us, eating his lunch with it. Well, he turned the truck off. And I don't know, he had an aftermarket system in it, but he had direct power for his servo. And we're just sitting there talking. All of a sudden, smoke starts pouring out of his truck. And he's, ripping body pins out and throwing the truck off. And when he got it put out, he just blew the servo. But yeah, you always want to have quick access to the trucks. bolts scare me sometimes on the custom build.
These ones that I'm doing this to, there's no change in the battery by taking the body off. But
okay, just underneath, slide it in and out.
Bro, if it's a truck like the F250, there's a battery box, toolbox in the back. Nice, yeah. That's where the battery is. And on this big 55 Chevy, that's how it is. But I did repurpose the body clip method from the stock Wrangler for my big red Travelall. So the interior is the Wrangler interior. So it was already perfectly spaced for those rear pins to go in. And then I chopped the front radiator up and glued it in.
That's what I'm going to do with mine. Yeah.
Whatever it takes, man.
So with the back clamshell bolts for that one, I didn't want to just glue it in. So I glued it in place and got it all lined up and got the holes through it, and then actually bolted it in through the top of it. So it's super secure. It's glued and bolted, so it's not going in, because there's a lot of pressure on that hinge.
That's how my Blazer is, Pete. Same way. Yep.
I was like, that glue is gonna crack. I knew it. It's a big body, man. There's a lot of weight to it. Once you get
that Carmen Gia body that Ryan's got, I gave him that.
Yeah.
The L brackets were like, for at the back, were like almost 4 inches long. They're ridiculously long. And for some reason, I don't know if I had too many Miller Lights or what, man, but something screwed up, and I had one of them way out of whack. And I'm like, what the heck happened? So I wound up having to buy like a bottle of DeBonder. Dude, it took the whole bottle for me to get that damn L bracket off of that so I could reset it. dude, these L brackets aren't going anywhere. I'm like, I am not putting any more bolts through these. It's crazy.
I was gonna say, Kelly, you know the exact percentage of 110 to 1.6, right? It's a very well. I mean, it depends on wheelbase too. You got to play with it sometimes. Just the question there. There was like something exact percentage to go from 110 to 1.6, right?
It's been different on every project a little bit.
So like my bug body up top that I've got that's got the weird patina on it. That's the only one that I put it in and sliced where I wanted to have those axles sitting at. And I did the math, and I always say math doesn't lie, but I did the math like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, okay, this is right. And so I started printing because I didn't want to screw it up because the actual VW bug, there's not a square side of that damn thing, so it uses a ton of supports. And by God, it was wrong. And I'm like, how did I get this wrong? I wound up printing that thing. I actually printed that 3 different times on one side, one half of it, to get to scale right on that one. For some reason, I don't know why, the math didn't work out. But everything else, I do. Like a few weeks ago, I used the dinosaur program that I still use and showed everybody on here how I get there. And it's again, slice the body, the whole entire body, where you want the axles to sit, get rid of the front and back area that you sliced. You take that whole thing then and move it onto your printer bed, and then do your whatever your wheelbase is and convert it to metric, or if it's in metric, just put it in to the printer software, and it automatically gives you the scale, the percentage of scale.
Yep.
Do you have like a wheelbase template? If you haven't, you should draw one up. Just that's like the tires, so you can see how they fit in the wheel wells and stuff.
Well, so as far as the tires go and the wheel wells, I'm still using a coping saw, and actually and drawn just hand sketching, like Ryan and I both are doing it to open up the wheel wells. I had to do that on this bug, and kind of pretty much figured out that Ryan kept yelling at me to get my wheel wells right, and I finally did. But I use a coping saw, and then I use a orbital sander in my, like a small drum sander in my drill gun, and I just go in there and just keep working it until I get where I feel like I want it to be at, and then fill the honeycomb with that Bondo paste before I paint.
Yep.
I actually happened to do the same thing. It was a little bit of, because I have a different set of tires than you have, but there's a little bit of rub, so I just massaged out the lower sides of it quite a bit, and then I had to do fix CA and then some kicker and sand it down and then paint it over that.
The rub is the bump stop, and it's okay. You drive through some sandy stuff, it's gonna help smooth it out anyway. I think everything we have has a little bit of it. You just don't want it to be crazy. For me,
right,
I want the arch to match the round of the wheel.
Exactly.
I don't care where. I mean, I do want it as low as I can have it, but that's my thing. And then if you're gonna do some of that work anyway, you do have a little bit of leeway if you're not exactly perfect. I know I haven't been perfect every time, but I'll make it fine. I'll make it the way I want it. And so to answer this guy, he commented on that post and was actually responded. I said something to that he'd be here this evening, to talk about this. So I think that's great. But
that's awesome.
Kelly nailed it. If you know what your wheelbase is, just even eyeball the top of the arch on your body that you're making, chop off the front, chop off the back, drag it into your software, and scale it till you get the wheelbase. On a SCX6, it's 501 or 495 in there. So that's what we did. We scaled it up, and whatever number you land on, write it down, because that's what everything in that project needs to be now. So I've had some that have been 115.41, 155.42, 134. The 55 Chevys, 134. And
Right.
I think I had a 111 in there somewhere, because the first travel all, some of these files come already 10th scale or 8th scale or whatever. But if they're talking about a Tamiya 10th scale, it's almost 12-inch wheelbase if you're lucky. Well, that's a 13-inch wheelbase FMS leaf sprung Jimny thing. Best kept secret in scale leafer RC if you want something on the cheap. It's no Twisted Fabco, but it'll get it done. I've done like 5 of these things on that chassis.
Heck yeah.
So do it, Chris.
So Chris, if you go back probably 4 or 5 weeks, I did a tutorial on Ryan's show, and I used the Mesh Mixer program. I'm comfortable with that for what I need to do to these things. Use the 1/8 scale of that Toyota Tacoma and bring that file into that Autodesk Mesh Mixer program, and just follow along what I was showing on the screen of what to do, and to be able to do a plane cut on both ends. And it gives you the ability to actually physically see where you want that axle to lay underneath the center of the actual wheel well. So, and then just follow along what I did and do that, and then take what's left, the center main body of the truck without the front and rear parts on there, and save it, and then bring that into your onto your printer bed as a whole piece. And like I said, just go ahead and put your wheelbase in there. If it's 19.5 inches, your what is that, 495.3, I think it is, millimeters. And that, whatever your scale is percentage of scale is what you'll use when you cut the pieces and the body into 6 or 8 pieces to be able to print it. Whatever that percentage of scale is, that's what you have to scale everything up and print all your chunks and pieces, fenders, bumpers, your badges, everything that's within that file needs to be all printed at that percentage of scale. And
you're never going to print that test plug. We just use that to get the measurement. That front cut off and the rear cut off, that's just for getting your wheelbase and your scale numbers figured out. After that, you print it the way you want. And we try to slice it where it makes sense on door panels. And man, I love my bamboo, because what I'll do, like on this big hood on this thing, I'll turn it sideways, I'll hit the cut. It does it perfect in the middle every stinking time. And then the remainder sets right there on the plate. So you got both halves sitting on the plate. You can either print them together or drag it off and wait. I kind of tend to print one piece at a time. I don't know. That's what I do. Unless they're a bunch of small ones. Like I want it to stay on task. Don't let it cool off enough where something's not sticking. You know what I mean? Just let it run it. But yeah, once you get the number, then you slice it however you want.
Right. And I gotta say, San Diego Ute fan, if you're still in here, to answer your question, yes, there is a Ken and Barbie from Myers sitting in my Blazer.
Dude, you know how many
and their seat belts are rubber bands. Hey Pete, did you ever do anything with your seats as far as cutting up a flannel shirt that you had laying around?
I did exactly that. I did something crazy with it. It was late at night, and I was just, going through my closet, and I was like, what would be a good shirt to cut up? And I found one that was like kind of like a blue plaid. And I tried a couple different methods, and then I ended up actually thin CAing the entire fabric onto the seat. Actually came out really well. You don't really even realize that it's all hard until you put your hands on it. You're like, oh, okay, that's got a hard finish on it.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
I've cut Elmer's with water and done that to fabric on a couple seats before. Whatever it takes. I mean, that CA would work too.
Yeah, it's like I made like carbon flannel, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I did a fake cow print on a seat for that FJ55. That RC 4-wheel drive has that kit that nobody wanted because the picture on the box was garbage.
FJ55, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear which one you were talking about, but you described it, and I knew which one you were talking about. See, that looks good. I think it looks great.
See the cow print in there?
Yeah, nice.
I'm stupid.
Where'd you get that? Where'd you get cow print?
Fabric.
Where'd you get it?
The craft store for girls.
Joanne Fabric? That's my favorite place, man.
Yeah, man. I ain't too proud to go in there.
Yeah,
so I went in there and got a couple 8x11 pieces of cowhide, fun fur or whatever, and gray. I got gray felt for the carpet, and I had a Marty McFly from Amazon. So bend it.
Pete, you gotta ask Ryan where he gets his window material.
Oh dear.
Hold on.
I know I've used for 10 scale stuff. I've just used like the blister cases that you get at like Walmart that all the electronics are in. Those are great, man. Cut those things up.
There it is.
That looks great, man. It's a good piece of material there to use.
Dude, you over here stealing my Barbie boxes, bro?
No, man, I got little girls. I use I use the stuff you buy too. I'm getting better at doing windows, but this stuff's awesome.
Is that polycarbonate that I use?
This is Lexan.
Oh, yeah.
1/32.
Yeah, that's
0.030. It's almost too thick to do any curves, but it's really good on like this 55 and inside windows and flat stuff. So on the curves, I'll use that Barbie throwaway business.
Pete, did you tint any of the windows in your Blazer, or are they all just clear?
They're all just clear. Yeah. That's definitely something I was looking into, something I wanted to do, but yeah, time.
Yeah, right.
There was a specific. I know I've sent Kelly pictures of it, but there was a specific Blazer that I had picked out that said I'm gonna replicate that one specifically. So, yeah, just all the exterior details. I definitely changed the interior from what they had, but all the exterior details I went to match up with that one. It came out good. It's a really odd color. Yeah. Like all my friends are like, "Isn't that supposed to be a white top?" And I was like, "Well, in most circumstances, but look at this." And they're like, okay. So yeah, if you look up K5 Blazer, I think it was like 70 K5 Blazer. Scroll down a little bit, that same baby blue one will pop up with the black accents.
I remember you sent me that picture. Yeah, it does, man. You did a great job on that, man. Honestly.
My Ford was actually going to originally be green like this, and I was going to black out all the stuff. Resto. Definitely not original kind of scheme, but this ended up, they get a mind of their own, and it ended up, I was like, that's what that's going to be. But yeah. So now this is going to be green.
Hell yeah. That thing looks amazing, man. You guys and your body filler, you guys are nuts. I found a cheat code, and Ryan, I know it didn't work out perfect for you, but that UV resin smoothing is like absolute lifesaver as far as time saver for me. It just worked great. And I did the top of the roof of my Blazer with just regular Bondo, and the amount of time it took me to sand that down to the point where it looked good compared to everything else. I did the main body all with the UV resin filler, and yeah, it came out awesome. A little bit of 220 grit over the top of it. It takes paint really, really well. It soaks it up. And it worked out great for me. I think the trick is just getting it to cure right, and I think you had a little trouble with that, Ryan.
I just need a bigger lamp.
Right? Yeah.
Kelly knows I use everything, so I did a ton of construction. So like the mud of the Bondo paste is super familiar, and so on big swaths, I'm glad to use it. But I still use that epoxy. That resin
yeah
on the little spots. Like, man, every one of these doors whether it was the Travelall, any one of these trucks I have, every one of the doors, the frame, the lines just stack and they're really obvious around there.
Yep.
And it's too small to Bondo, if you ask me. So that's where I use that resin. I use it on stuff that's a little too small for me to spread. And then I use it on stuff like the bezels and the handles and the little things. Because when you print the little stuff, it doesn't matter how you orient it. It's going to be garbage somewhere. So I'll sand it. I'll do that UV resin because it does sand up nice, and it's clear and it's thick. Takes paint good, and I can make these. This side's got the gas cap, but I mean that stuff drives me crazy. Like the gas cap and the handles. I don't want to see the lines in it, and the no matter how you slice these prints,
you're not gonna get rid of them.
And here is the back. It's hard to focus on it. It wants to do my face. But that's one of the rear lights for the 55. And you're not going to find a line in it now. And that's with that UV resin and paint and sanding. And it's smooth all the way around.
Now I understand why it takes you 8 months to get a truck done.
But when it's done,
dude, I don't worry about that kind of little stuff like that. Dude, I slap it together. Let's go beat it, man. Let's go.
I'll beat it still. You all didn't even know these things. I mean, you knew they had a second gear, but like, I listen, you know it's true. That first time we went out and I had my 6 and it still had the Wrangler body on it. And I knew I was getting ready to make a 3D printed body. So I was like, let me get a last bash on this thing. And dude, I think I surprised you guys with what it would take.
Yeah, you did.
Jumping logs and stuff.
Dude, we were all trying to stay the hell out of Wasty and take our legs out from underneath this.
So Chris asked, what filament do we use?
Yeah, I just saw that.
Go ahead.
Chris, I always use PLA. I do have some ASA now in the house that I'm going to try on my K1 Max, my Creality K1 Max. Probably will do that soon. I'm going to make sure it's in a well-ventilated area. But as of right now, everything that we have that we're talking about has all been PLA.
Except my Travelall.
Yeah, it's everything.
Bro, ASA, PSA, ABC, 123, Belle Biv DeVoe, like everything is in that Travelall. I'm actually, I lost that footage, Kelly. I recut it all when we had the 50, your 55 Chevy out and my Travelall, and it was a good day, and I had it all cut, and then I lost it. Anyway, I got it recut last night, and I'm throwing in all the pictures that I have of the Travelall, because that big one was a mess, and it's multiple materials put together, and you'll never know by looking at it. It's got a lot of JB Weld in it for where the gaps were.
Dude, that thing was a mess. And you brought it back to health, man. I'm impressed.
Every step of the way, too. That's what's neat for me, is like seeing it. Okay, my gosh. Not only was it multiple different filaments, but it was multiple different colors, which I think helps a little bit. You can see where the guy decided to cut it, and you can also see where dude ran out of filament. That too. You said something about that to me one time, Pete. It's like, he doesn't care. Just keep going. What are you going to do? Stop and wait and get the right color? You know you're going to paint it and stuff anyway. So, yeah, that Travelall was many colors, many filaments, 2 or 3 of those packages of that JB Weld plastic. And I would just tape the bottom side and let it fill. And then Porter cable, random orbital, I buzzed the snot out of it, and then just kept painting it and filling and painting it and filling. And there's videos of it all the way through that process. So there's sometimes where the paint looks good. There's sometimes where I was in the middle of the finish work, and it exposed all the lines and the patchwork and the different colors, and it actually looked pretty cool, but it's too much. And so I was finally sick of it. I'm like, I'm done. And I painted it one more time. And I don't really like gloss, but I painted it red gloss because that's what I have for that color. And I was like, that is smooth. I don't see any lines. I'm going to stop there. After I dust it with a little bit of blue and hit it with a clear matte. And then I walked away finally.
Yep.
On that thing, but it's going to be in the video. The pictures will be there. I'm going to try to talk through the process, and I invite anybody who's not been here before, like, check out the RC Trucks on me and Kelly's channel. His channel's linked in the description, and then of course you're here right now at Pilot Ryan Media. A lot of plane stuff, but it's been trucks lately for a minute, and this 3D printing becomes its own hobby in and of itself. Kelly, it's Kelly's fault,
dude. It takes over your life,
bro.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
I don't know what else to say.
And right now, Pete, I'm making a big one of these.
Oh, big. Is that the? Were you guys calling that the? What is that? The
Tremors truck?
Yeah, the Tremors truck. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the one I think you guys were talking about. It's been in a bunch of different movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that one was what is that? The Overboard.
Russell and a Dodge thing.
That's what yeah.
This is Kevin Bacon in that Tremors movie where there's that desert like monster thing. But this thing was a ton of work, but it's all printed now, 6 scale. It's just got to be. So this one I'm giving to my dad. This is built on a leaf sprung FMS chassis once again, and this is going to be my dad's. I got to get a video on it, and then I'm giving it up because he was the one who told me, dude, look at the Tremors movie. You're going to love that truck. And then so I'm like, yeah, let's make it. And I can't wait to have a big one, bro. Because this is killer.
Sweet.
And so much of the stuff you're looking at, it's me and his first go at the. I never airbrushed before this one. You know?
Yep.
Ryan, Wild Bill said it's about time to print a top for the Winnebago.
I saw that and ignored that earlier. I could. And that's the neat thing about these files. Like, you can repurpose. So the roof is kind of skinny and long on the Travelalls. I shortened it and made it wider, and now I have a roof for my Suzuki whatever Golden Nugget thing that's over here. Nice. And that same roof could be stretched out and sized up to be the roof for the Winnebago, which I really never take out. But if I put a roof on that Winnebago, he's got it right with drink holders. Right now, with the interior that's in that Winnebago, last time I took it out, it was like a toolbox. Bro, it was like a toolbox on wheels. I had a coffee sitting in there, like my selfie stick, GoPro.
Dude, your big Travelall's a traveling damn picnic table, bro.
That's the truth.
That thing has got a massive roof on it. I think it's bigger than what our Blazers are, Pete. It's crazy.
Oh, dude, my departure angle's like stupid.
Well, the first time I drove this Blazer, Pete, you now since you've driven yours, it's like I was crawling through the woods and I'm looking like 30 feet ahead trying to figure out what line I'm going to take because this thing's so damn big and so boxy. It's like, where am I going to fit through at?
Yeah.
This one was the first big one I ever scaled up. And I really went for scale. You don't see the wheels hanging out a lot, right? So this ended up being huge. But my F250, dude, it's my best performer because the wheels stick out actually so far. The approach and departure is amazing. But yeah, this is the scale one. But it's surprising, isn't it, Kelly? Like, how good does this do, and how good does your 55 do? You don't expect the 55 and this to do well, but it does.
Pete knows. They all do good.
Dude, it's the chassis, man, and it's just a matter of if that body's willing to come along for the ride. This is what it seems, because SCX6 is. I mean, it's you put it in second gear on 4S, it's darn near a basher. So
oh my gosh,
I've been careful once you put these nice bodies on them.
I've been tempted to run 4S in mine. Since you told me that, I never do.
It's been all I can do to avoid it because I don't want to break stuff.
You would break something. You're nuts, dude. You're crazy behind that 6 chassis.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
That's exactly why I need 4S.
Jeez,
Isn't it?
Oh yeah, 4S basher packs, man.
Dude, check this out, guys. So I got copper on this one.
I like it.
That thing's awesome, dude.
He can't stand it. He just got done with the black one, and he's like, I'm making
like even well, you can't really see it, but even my non-museum grade taillights are actually copper color too.
Are you putting lights in those?
Yeah, the lights are in.
What lights are you using? Because those are small buckets.
They're I think they're like 2 or 3 millimeter in the back.
Because I keep using SCX6 lights, but I have to cut and stretch them and solder up new wires in them all the time. And these are little.
You got to use, I think they're 2, off the look, they're either 2 or 3 millimeter diameter. They're small.
If I drill them out, I can get enough depth to use what I have. But it's gonna be,
when you put that lens in there on that, you don't have much room.
Oh,
and then you're gonna have to use black hot glue to cover up the light that's sticking out on the opposite side.
For that. You know what I did on the lenses?
What?
I cut them in half on the software.
Oh,
so just a skinny lens instead of that full, because these are meant to be a model static. Yeah. So the light lens was just a plug that goes in it.
Yep.
So I cut it in half.
Oh,
and so it will just be, it leaves me room for the bulb, but the depth inside here, it could go a little more. And I could do this in the software too with a circle negative space. But bro, I've already finished these and sanded them and painted them and all that crap. These little tiny things I could ignore.
Dude, somebody mentioned museum grade. You're like a curator, bro.
I think it's OCD. I don't know. I don't claim any self-diagnosis, but other than just batshit crazy.
Back to the Tremors truck. You still want to do a video on that? Pete, we were just talking about going down to Logansport, Indiana, back to France Park sometime soon in the next couple weeks.
Let me know.
Maybe you guys
usually go on the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Usually a Saturday.
Yeah.
Make a run down there. You ever crawled there at that place?
No, never been here. I'm an Ohioan. I just moved out to Champaign to start working for Horizon, so I don't know too many places around here.
Oh, got you.
That's the best place I've ever been anywhere. France Park, ever, anywhere.
The other one we need to try is that Starved Rock. It's not all that far from you, Pete. Just I think just west and north a little bit of you.
Oh, okay.
And
I've never been there either.
I've heard about.
We just took 10 scale, and we were like wishing we had 6 scale. And I don't think we had any bodies yet on any of these at that time. Anyway, did we, Kelly? You might have had one. It took me minutes to finally get that one done.
When we went down there, I think I did. I had a couple bodies for the 6s, but yeah, we decided to just take the 110 scales. And then once we got there and saw the terrain, then it was like, why in the hell didn't we bring them?
Seriously, I think that'd be a beautiful place to film a new release.
Yeah.
Or anything.
For sure.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, because especially if it's not too far off, I got my couple places I do to film axial releases, and
Nice. It's
I'm always looking
beautiful.
for new
And
ones.
you can see what that place looks like from. I mean, if you watch the videos we made, of course, it's a selfie stick 6 inches from the ground or whatever, but you still get to see the place.
Yeah.
Because I did the FMS LC80 there and that Willie's wagon there, which I love the Willie's wagon. And the only reason it's not a 6 scale yet is because, bro, it's so top heavy.
Oh, I bet.
It just kind of is. I think the 6 could handle it because it's just so hefty.
Bro, we need to make that in the pickup truck version, like what Fred sent us.
Oh yeah, that
picture.
Willie's truck.
Yeah.
Because it's the thrift side.
I should text this to Pete.
Yeah, bro.
For sure.
New body.
It's just cool.
What?
And man, I've got so many half done ones. The Golden Nugget. I don't know if you're familiar with that at all, Pete. But
that you said Suzuki Golden Nugget, so that makes me think Matt's Off-Road Recovery.
yes, and Fab Rats. They dug it out of the woods, restored it. It's dope.
Hell yeah.
So the Suzuki Jimny from FMS, that garbage leaf sprung ready to run.
yeah.
That I love so much. I have 4 of those bodies, by the way, if anybody needs one, because I keep stealing the chassis. But that's what that Golden Nugget is.
Okay, yeah.
Except the Golden Nugget's the full box back. So me and another fella, Tony, he out of styrene made the rest of the box and the roof. And the roof looked like he made it out of a cabinet. It was perfectly flat. I hated it. So I took it off and printed one. But I've got a Golden Nugget where I patinaed it like it looked when it came out of the woods, but have it up on 2.2 Patagonias and the whole deal, looking pretty good. Sitting here half done, just ready to be finished. And I started printing a Unimog for a TRX4, which is like damn near done, but not.
Yeah.
But these 6s got me wrapped up right now. I can't even help it. I used to think it was just going to be for winter time and I'd be back on 10 scale. I'll still be back on 10 scale. But bro, these 6s.
Bro, I'm done. I'm done with 110 scale. Other than my little comp truck, I'm done.
I still like them, but these definitely have my attention.
I might change my tune when I got to tie one around my waist and drag one of these damn 6s out of the woods.
Yeah. That's the bring extra batteries.
Hey,
yeah.
On version 2, forget a dig. Let's keep the 2-speed and throw in a neutral. Because literally, we're bringing the tools out. Like if we got to pull one out, like I'm taking the drive shafts off and I'm going to pull it out. There's no way you're going to find me carrying this son of a gun.
That's a big monkey on your back, man.
Yeah.
So Chris
Jason
said
Hansen over there asking the elephant in the room, why is Horizon canceling? Well, number one, I am on no level of pay grade to answer a question like that. But yeah, it's trade war. It's tough on the company, man. It's hard to make money in times like these. So yeah, Horizon's just kind of cinching the belt up, trying to keep the doors open. Really.
Yeah,
that's about as much as I can say on it. Really.
Could you try again?
It's happening everywhere, and it's unfortunate, but it really is the smartest thing you can do. You have to future proof against what you hope isn't inevitable. I mean, 2 weeks to flatten the tariff. You know what I'm saying? It may not be 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
So you can't go, I think you got to be very careful. I imagine they're probably looking at the same, the NASCAR sponsorships and anything that they can probably save money by skipping. They're going to.
Yeah. That's just it. It's when you when you can't afford an RC, you don't buy an RC. When you can't afford to run events, you don't have events, right?
That's it.
That's also
Absolutely.
not true, and they're trying to keep Proline by the Fire up. So it's the same thing with the RC addiction. Even if you don't have money, you try to get as many events as you can. So yeah, Proline by the Fire, I think, is still on at this point, which is cool. But yeah, tightening the belt on everything else. Oh, and we're the first ones who are, the most PO'd about it. You know what I mean? That's time of our lives. We literally get to get paid to do what I did this weekend, and I paid money to do it, and usually they pay me to go cover the event. So it's awesome for me. It sucks for everyone in the company. I know everyone hates to do it, and I know everybody in the community is pretty annoyed with it. So it's everybody's upset about it on every end, really, because we love seeing everybody every year.
Oh yeah, and it's not like they're not already have a legacy. It's not brand new events. I mean, it's not a decision taken lightly. I'd have to assume. You've got RC Fest and Axial Fest and other events that have been canceled, and that's not a pleasant decision to make. And these are events that people come to already proven.
Yeah.
So it's just,
and and two, you got to realize too that I don't think Horizon is looking at like this isn't the first time we've had 2020. We canceled most of our events. We held RC Fest very late, but most of the other events we had to make concessions for. So same sort of thing is where unfortunately it's just not a new thing. Stuff that's going on in politics and around the world unfortunately affects the business.
Yep.
Yeah,
sure.
it does.
So Chris said you guys need to attend the Halloween haul and the crawl and come down to Cherokee Rock Village in Alabama. I've seen some videos out there in the past months of Cherokee Rock Village. That place looks amazing too.
When I did the video for the white Traxxas TRX4 Bronco, there was a white one and a yellow one because Scott was running with me. I filmed it in Birmingham, and there was some neat spots.
Oh yeah,
I love Alabama. It's 10 hours away. So that part is not my favorite. I mean, literally, dude, Kelly, when I go to Elkhart, I have to take the back roads home because the car's got to recover. I got to avoid the bypass. But
which, by the way, the boat's in the water, so we got to plan out some
float flying,
some float flying too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That I have a whole other half of this hobby that I got to get into now. So I'm gonna put the Blazer back together. I got one more 3D printed. I got a Volvo C303 6x6 that I'm finishing up that I got to paint, and then I got an MB339 in my basement that's wondering why I don't love it anymore, and a few other airplanes that I need to get out this year.
Did you get the military version or the first one?
Brother, I have the original prototype, which actually is military, but it's not the printed scheme. It's actually hand done in ultra coat.
Sick.
Yeah,
bro.
I got friends.
That new Hawk, right? Isn't that a T-45 or a?
Yeah. It's okay. So it's funny because it's a Hawk. The airplane itself is a Hawk, but it has a T-45 trim scheme on it. And there's, if you get really nerdy about it, there's some mild differences between a T-45 and a BAE Hawk. So it's kind of, so they call it a Hawk / T-45, which is, it's kind of neither because it's, it's an awesome trim scheme and it's never been done before. And we wanted to put it on a Hawk, so we did.
It looks fantastic, dude. And it's super scale-ish if it's not. And the Goshawk, the BAE Hawk has the two ventrals on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then the T-45 was beefed up and made for the Navy.
Carrier ops.
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah, it has the big tow hood.
Flats, air brakes. You got the one ventral instead of two.
Yep.
But the shape, the shape is very similar to even the HSD Viper from back in the day. So some of these sport jets, they're classics. You see them over and over. But golly, y'all, man, that video you guys put out on that one, What a presence,
We
monster.
still haven't released the official product release video, which I did. I had David Payne fly it for me. It's absolutely amazing. We got the entire video done in like 3 flights. Is unbelievable. So I believe because they sneak peeked it, they want it for whatever. There was a European event,
You're
Pro
right.
Wing, that they released it for, and then they're going to release it again. They're doing 2 basically soft event releases, Joe Nolan Pro Wing, and then I hope we're gonna do the official release this Thursday, tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah, so hopefully that
Yeah,
drops
yeah.
tomorrow.
Man, that thing looks amazing. And in the 339, bro, it's like a Carbon Z turbine.
Dude, the intention by Allie and the development of it was just to make guys who are proficient with EDFs be able to get into the turbine world and not have that much of a difference.
Yeah, gorgeous.
And it worked, dude.
That's
The thing is awesome. I mean, I have a Synapse system that needs to go in it, actually sitting right down there. That's some of the neglect that needs to be taken care of on that one, because I have the old power safe system in it, and that's got to go. The old AS3000's got to come out. Synapse.
Oh yeah, go with the new stuff.
Yep.
That's awesome.
The stuff that I applied on the Synapse is kind of like a no brainer. I had thought, because I had asked Ali Machinchi about it. I said, hey, should I just keep the old AS3000 and the power safe in there? And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He was like, no, rip all that out. Rip all that old stuff out. The new, because of the new Synapse, the AS3X Plus is that much better. And everything I've flown on it is just, it's absolute butter, man. I love AS3X.
I'd like to try that system out in something. I don't have anything big enough to warrant it. The biggest stuff I have, Carbon Z T28,
it would be a huge difference even in that T28.
Even in that.
Yeah.
I'd like to learn how to work it.
Dude, it's crazy intuitive too. You set it up, it walks you through it, and then you got a gain knob. Once you got it locked into where you want, switch the gain knob to a trim switch, and you're done. You can fine tune it after that. But
does it set up like regular? I mean, is it going to be reminiscent to regular AS3X setups? Like
same thing, only easier. Yeah. You put it in the plane, you power it up. The telemetry connects to the transmitter. The transmitter walks you through the whole process.
It's easier.
Orientation. Oh yeah, way easier.
It ought to be for what it costs, I think. That's
cool. Yeah. But you do it all from the transmitter, just beep, bop, boop, and you
so, dude, Kelly could have. So there'd be no crime in having that Synapse system in that awesome Kristen Eagle that Kelly has.
Oh, it'd be perfect for it.
Yeah,
especially and that's the thing. It's like, these guys are putting synapses in GBs, and all of a sudden they can land them. It's really that good, where it's just able. It's the cycles per second that the Synapse is doing that the old stuff just can't match. So it can react so much faster that it's a completely different flying experience. And I don't know where I collect my money for the plug for the Synapse system, but.
Yeah. Good luck, bro. Yeah. So that's cool. I have flown Cortex before in a HSD, 12S situation, and it felt pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, flight stability systems have gotten such a bad rap, and I know that pilot. I was about to call you pilot instead of Ryan. That it just enhances the visual appearance of the aircraft in flight is the main difference for me. The thing's not shaking all the way down the runway when you got a crosswind, and it just presents it so much better. That's what really makes it easier to fly. It keeps you off your toes. If you got an airplane that you're relatively comfortable with, you don't get surprised. But any new aircraft, you're like, oh my gosh, what was that? It did a thing. I probably moved a stick and it did a thing, and I didn't expect it to. And it really takes all that away, even in a brand new airplane. The setup process and the gyro reactivity is just top notch for sure.
It's kind of like actually reading the book when it calls out for flap to elevator compensation.
Yeah,
so
you
can take the workload off and enjoy it a little more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's gotten to the point where like a knife edge or a slow roll pass in a jet is like cheating anymore, because it holds the nose up for you. It knows where you want to be in the sky. You just hit the ailerons over, and nice smooth axial roll for you.
I haven't been doing
Wow.
forever. I used to get all new planes. You know this.
Yeah.
And it honestly, without the pressure and stress of the release dates, that was the only flying I was getting done.
Yeah.
Y'all saw it. It was always releases. So now if I go out, it's just me. There's not really a camera on it. But I'm not going out as much, and I'm not doing those new releases really the same. I do have the Sportix and the little 64 millimeter Viper I should do. But we've been flying Monday night on Real Flight every week, having a ball.
I told you I need to get in on some of that. I haven't. I think I actually downloaded the newest version of Real Flight and actually got it like reset up on my computer just for that.
I'm flying 9.5. I'm still on 9.5, and I'm able to. Yeah, I'm good. I'm in there,
dude. Bro, I'm on 9.5 too. How do you make that airplane bigger? How do you scale it up?
Click around. So like in the top,
click around,
honestly, bro.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
I did it on the fly during the show one day because I knew guys were flying stuff that was stupid big. I'm like, well, this must be something that's doable. And so I went into simulation, I think it is.
Gotcha. Because I was bouncing around the other night trying to find that. Because I was going to blow up that B-25 I was flying. I was going to make that thing huge.
Bro.
And just come after you, man. Come after everybody.
Well, no, what we do is I get a big one too. And we form up. Do little Sky Raiders. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think it's in simulation and you're able to play with the physical attributes or whatever. Yeah. It's up there. Just poke around. I could tell you when I'm in the system, but it's hard to now.
Yeah, it's one of the drop-down menus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's up there at the top somewhere.
Victor says, edit when you're not in the multiplayer. That's probably it.
Yeah, under aircraft and then simulation.
Gotcha.
It's doable. I think I did it on the show.
Dude, I'm probably going to do it by accident and make it 1,000% bigger.
Well, and I didn't, and you can tell when guys are flying those big things that the wing loading never changes. It's like it's huge and it's really gentle. And I think I jacked that T6 up to 200 or 222% and didn't change anything else but the size. So
you can change
the gasser, bro.
So you can change the motor and the size of everything.
You can do more. It's just like smartphones and radios. They'll do way more than you need.
Yeah, when we get out of here, that's why I'm hooking up my computer to the TV, dude, and I'm gonna come guns a-blazing next Monday night, bro. I'm gonna figure this out.
Wild deal, dude. It's the Monday night Real Flight Fly-In.
Yeah.
And password 8675309 every time. It's a ball, dude.
Yeah, we need to get out and do some flying, Ryan.
I still love it. I really do. I don't need as many foamies as I have though now. I wouldn't mind stripping it down to some stuff that really gets me kind of excited, you know.
I still got a V1200. I still got a V1200 upstairs, Pete, that I've never flown.
Oh,
that
really?
new P-47 looks good. The wood one.
V1200 is fun, man. It's a handful.
That thing is I hate it on the ground, but in the air, amazing.
A lot of the biggest problem that we've had with people that they want to fly around and they want to get up to 150 feet before they suck the gear up, and they're usually got too much ahead of speed to get the gear sucked up all the way because they're their poor gear is like, I want to go up, and they won't be able to. And everybody trying their low pass with half their gear hanging out.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just pretend for a minute it's a real one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Pretend
for a minute it's a real one. And there's these guys that are tucking the gear up as soon as they get off the ground aren't showing off, bro.
Yeah.
I've been in a T6 numerous times, and bro, when you're flying and those gear come down, even slowed down to deploy.
Oh, it's like they hit the brakes on you, right?
It's like thunder all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Under you. I mean, it's insane. You can feel it. It vibrates the whole bird, dude.
Yeah. So that V1200 starts picking up speed, man. There's those poor little retracts are there's nothing compared to 120 plus mile an hour winds blowing on, especially when it has the fairing on it.
I mean, they're so lightweight. They're just chopsticks holding it up for the prop, really. So Pete, I got this, like, I printed out this airplane. And I showed it. Dude, I showed it a couple weeks ago. Ryan's like, "Hey man," he's like, "I got an extra V1200 motor. Let's put it in there." I'm like, "Dude, what? It'll rip the plastic off of it."
It's not an on-off switch. You can feather into it.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude,
see what it can do. See the limits.
That'd be crazy. And it's a GB too, so it would probably scream.
Well, I mean, and two, you can just less cells through that motor too. I mean, what is it rated for 6S? You run it on 4S, you can probably dial it back really nice.
Yeah, probably.
When I did the video on it, I flew on 4 and 6, and the wing loading benefits. I feel like it was really good on 4S.
Yeah,
it's still super fast. The wing loading's lighter. It was easier to handle, on 4S. I mean, of course, the speed of 6 is where it's at. Yeah. But I'm such a lander. I really like landings and touch and goes a lot. So, I in a way liked it better on 4S. Yeah. For that reason. But like I said, usually when I made those videos, you're seeing my first or second flight. It's not like I got to spend a ton of time on them either. So I always felt bad about that too. Like, and I'd revisit some of those. Like when I first did that 1.5 Mustang.
Yeah, big Mustang, right?
Bro, you there's some work to do to get your landing right. It's an amazing plane. Yeah. And my shakedown, what I would put out was, kind of I always like calling it a shakedown because it's more than a maiden. A maiden, you expect somebody so high you can't see it. You know what I mean? And it's personal. Like a shakedown is like, all right, let's talk this out, and I'll try to show it off still. But my landings were ugly, but I left them in it. And you look at the comments, people are thanking me for actually showing the truth. It's because you know what, I love this, but it's not. If you're having an issue, it's not for me probably. And I'd say, I appreciate that, and stand by though, because I'm gonna get this figured out. Yeah. And I did, and I took it back out to Winnemac, where the runway is forever.
In both directions, right? With and both directions,
and just greased it all day. Yep. Once I got it figured out.
Dude,
so
that airplane, the 1.5 meter Mustang, this is an absolute true story. Allie was shooting the product video for it, and he couldn't land it over and over again. He's like, "Dude, I cannot get this thing to roll out straight. It's just a pain in his ass." And he, just as a joke, he handed me the transmitter. And I greased it, and every landing in that product video is from me, not from Allie.
Nice.
That's I swear that's a true story. I'm not lying.
That makes my day.
It's a pain, man. It's a tailwheel warbird, and it's shortly coupled. It's a huge pain in the ass on the ground,
bro. And if you didn't know this, North American Aviation, their planes come with more ground loop than anyone else's for whatever reason. Bro,
just the way they design them. It's just
I don't know what it is. I mean, the T6, just ground loop. I love the T6, but they are it's short coupled, it's warbird, it's tail dragger. Bro, ground loop city. I used to think I was an ace with a Mustang because we were flying off of grass back in the day before we had the geotechs. We were the 1400, 1450 FMS stuff was, popular, and then it's like really kind of heyday, and we had them all, and we were just owning it on the grass.
It's keeping you straight.
Thought we were studs. I took my B model Mustang to Muncie that summer, and all of a sudden I'm on pavement. I'm like, wow, I got to learn what the rudder is. And there wasn't enough throw in it. That night, after the first night in Muncie, I remember like I'm on my radio jacking up the throw on the rudder because there wasn't enough to even being cognizant of it. There wasn't enough to keep from ground looping. And it was like, here I go. I thought I was the ace in grass. And then, oh my word. And it's one of those things that gives you that perspective. You see all these really fantastically built scale models, and they'll land it in the grass right next to a runway. And you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. It's a smart decision. They're making that's a calculated choice right there.
I know why they're doing it.
Yeah.
I know why they're doing that, and I get it, and I ain't mad at you. Now, if you're on a tricycle gear, what are you doing? Use the runway. But on a tail dragger and you got nice grass, there's nothing better than that. If it'll
Why not make yourself look good?
Right.
Especially if you're filming it. I mean, that little 280 feet we got at our place that I've made hundreds of videos from, hey, it's not by accident I'm not rolling off the runway. Yep. You know what I mean? There is not much there to work with. So I'm as slow as you can get on a landing.
I remember trying to teach my buddy how to take off on a Warbird, and I was like, well, yeah, if you run out of rudder, you got to bring the throttle back, and you got to balance it. You got to have, you call them happy feet, you know what I mean, and in full scale, but you got to be on that rudder. You got to be quick on it. And he's like, well, what if I just do this? And he just mashes the throttle, the plane takes off sideways. I was like, well, that works too. That's a way to do it.
I've done it, especially if I'm spooked by something.
Yep.
That I don't know how many times, especially if I hadn't had the Mustang out for a while, I'm like, all right, I know what this is going to do. I'm flipping safe in, and I'm just going to crank it and get off. And the runway's this way, and you're up over,
you're in the air and you're flying.
The only Mustang I've ever had was one of the 1450 millimeter FMSs. And we were over at the RV Hall of Fame flying off of a big grass field over there. And I made the mistake of putting too much power to it too quick. And I was like, wow, that's impressive, because it was on its way to the other direction.
You know what was crazy? At that same time, not soon after the 1450, so 1450 millimeters like 57 inches, and then 1400 millimeters is what, 55? So the FMS Mustang, it's 4S, and it's awfully close to being a 1500 millimeter size, but the wing loading of that FMS and the way they have their battery down in the bottom, closer to the bottom than the free wing version that was a little smaller, the one with the sound system and stuff.
Yeah.
I was doing videos at the same time of the FMS one and the free wing one, both very similar size, but the free wing one, a little bit smaller, a little bit heavier, and the battery set right under the top of the fuse in the front, just right up. So as high as you could be in the worst spot on top in front of the fulcrum of the wheels.
Yeah.
I
always felt like, I mean, obviously takeoff power and initial thrust is a different story. You always got to work with that. But once it was in the air, I always thought that plane was really anemic. Seemed like it just needed a second gear out of it. That FMS 51 anyway.
Yes, it did. And that's why everybody went for that zip tie mod. And
there was a zip tie mod?
People were doing a zip tie mod underneath the hub of the blade to give it a little bit more pitch.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I refused to do it.
See, yeah, because it was like the 4 blades that were bolted into the rear part of the hub.
Right.
I remember that. Yeah, so you could pitch the blades a little bit. That's funny.
That's wild.
The best thing to do is just change the motors. It was a 540 kV. I remember 540 kV. And what was funny was the 3-bladed FMS stuff had a 580 kV. and they were fast. The Trojan, the Zero, the Falk Wolf, the 109, all that stuff was on the 580 pretty quick. And then when they got into the P40B, I'm looking at mine, they got with the 650.
That
KV.
P40 was beautiful, man. If you got one sitting there, I love that plane.
I'll never not have one. It's one of my favorites.
The gray belly, right?
Yeah. And it's the B model. So they had an early one that was like an E and it sucked. One of their first Warbirds FMS. Okay. But when they did the B model, we kind of all knew it was coming. I was working at Motion then. But they came out with that 980 pocket rocket.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Stupid. Super heavy, 4S, small. I mean, no better way to make an advanced guy look like a beginner than to put him in something like that. Yeah. Man, I had a heck of a time working that out, but then I could own it if it was a little bigger, you know. But, dude, once I saw that 980 and it was a B model, I'm like, that's the best looking one. It's kind of a shorter fuse. It's got the chin is set back.
Yeah.
B model, Flying Tigers. Come on. And so I'm hoping when I saw that 980 and how good a job, it looked amazing. I was like, boy, I hope they do a big one. and they did. They did the 1450, and it's badass. You can land on two.
I start talking about planes with you guys. We can get you way off track, can't we?
I'm telling you. But yeah, that plane will take it on. You can land on the mains or you can 3-point it. It doesn't care. It's just so good. I feel like Spitfires are that way and Hurricanes are that way. There's some planes it doesn't seem to matter how you put them in. And then others that are really specific. You're not 3-pointing a Mustang, brother.
Right.
Nope. But you can the T6, even though it likes a 2-wheel landing also. And the P40, it doesn't matter what you do.
You know, like talking about Warbirds, the 1.2 meter T28.
Awesome.
It was an awesome plane. I had one for a while, then I sold it to a friend, but I was doing a lot of takeoff and landings with it, trying to figure it out. And I had my everything set up by the book, Ryan, believe it or not. And like full flaps straight off of the manual. I played hell trying to make a perfect landing with that thing. And I wound up just using the first recommended notch of degrees of flaps, and it landed beautifully.
Oh, yeah. That's funny, too, because, yeah, you're totally right. You don't usually want to come in with that plane on full flaps. It gets a little too draggy, and you'll lose power coming in. It usually flops.
But the carbon Z, though, dude, full flaps with a 5-mile-an-hour headwind, dude, you could reach out and grab it.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
Yeah, a different bird altogether, man. And that 1.2 meter T28, that's another one that runs on 4S that gets real hot, real nice. I love that plane on 4S. I don't even fly it on 3S.
Oh yeah, why would you? The only reason I would do it in videos is just to show you can, because guys have them. But 3200 4S to me is the sweet spot in all those 1.2 joints.
Exactly.
Yep.
I'm looking at the manual right now for the 1.2 Trojan because I want to find out if Kelly did the flat mix.
No, I totally did. I had it set up by the book.
Did?
Yes, I did. That's what I told you. I had it set up exactly by the book. And too much flap on that airplane, it did not do well on flaring.
You know what your problem was?
I went the wrong way with the elevator.
Maybe. Or you CG.
No, my CG was smack dab right on.
Exactly. It should have been forward.
Oh, jeez.
Nose heavy for the win for life.
I don't know. That airplane was squirrely with the flap mix and everything that the manual
it's only
said.
Calling for 2%. So that's nothing. That's so little that you could just skip it.
Tricycle Warbird Kelly, you gotta. That's all pilot right there, buddy.
Yeah. I need to start paying. I need to start
What
paying
battery?
attention to Brian Phillips and his pilot fatigue shit, so I can be a part of that.
That's
What
not
battery
real.
did you fly?
I
in
think
that
that's a
approach?
myth.
You gotta take vacation day. You gotta take PTO to watch Brian's videos.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you
I
do.
love him, but they're long.
Brian's a good dude, man. He's my buddy. He's a funny
He
guy.
is.
He used to yell at me for stuff way back when me and Allie were doing On the Fly. He used to make comments and yell at me about my video work.
Ryan, to answer your question, I think I'm pretty sure I was only running, if I had to guess, 3 S2200s. So they were probably pretty light.
Say less.
Yep.
Say less.
But yeah, that was.
No,
Yeah,
it's a good plane.
I'm pretty sure it was 3 S2200s in it. So it was probably too light.
It's fine unless you go full flaps. Dude, hey.
You know, I do
full flaps. There's power. See, you drop full flaps, put in a little power, and it's just like half flaps with less power.
That's right. If you can maintain angle of attack that doesn't make a mess for you. if your attitude changes, then you're breaking up your airflow pretty bad. That ideally, I feel like your pitch, your attitude should stay the same, but obviously your drag and lift increases.
Yep.
So that's when you know it's right. Is if can I flip this, even at speed, which is not ideal, but like if I flip flaps down at speed, I expect I'm going to dial it in so the attitude stays the same, and I may get elevation. Because I'm going too fast, I should get lift.
Yeah, yeah.
But
and that's the thing is like
stays the same, you win.
The thing that I've always been taught is that, you know, if you put flaps in and you balloon, it's because you're going too fast when you put in the flaps. That's the simple part of it. You know, if you're configuring the aircraft for a certain speed, obviously it's going to act weird if you're not at that speed, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's just all, it's the big puzzle we play when we're up in the air, trying to get on an approach, trying to get the aircraft sorted out. And that, I think that's one of the biggest problems that myself and many other pilots included is that it's hard to see when a plane gets slow, especially on approach. And that's, it's easy to tell when a plane's fast because it doesn't want to land. It just bounces off the runway and keeps going. And then, that's what I see every day at the airfield is people are having a hard time. And how can you not? The airplane's coming straight at you. It's at your worst depth perception as far as, how fast is this airplane. When it's coming across you, you can tell easily. But when you have it pointed straight at you and it's starting to drop in, that's where you lose all your depth perception. And you get too slow, you either flop it or you go too fast and you're bouncing down the runway.
At least with too fast, you're still flying.
Yeah.
The real mess is too slow. And I feel like it becomes, it's happening, but you're right. You don't really see it.
Yeah.
And for me on a porpoise, as long as it stays, if you have a Cessna and you don't do a flap to elevator mix and you drop the flaps, that nose is up.
Yeah.
Crazy. You can't get it slow enough, really, to settle the attitude.
Sure.
You just can't.
Yeah.
Now, some things you can, but I think when people, if they experience a porpoise on landing or even if the attitude stays the same and they get the elevation, they put their flaps on way too late. It's like, settle down in the downwind, homie.
Yeah, yeah.
The best landings start with a good downwind that's not a mile high.
Stabilized approach.
That's it. And once you make after base, you're on final. Yeah, you're right. The perspective's goofy. I tend to just let it settle in and establish this angle. But if you're out of the power for that, it's only going to get steeper.
Yeah.
So even though I don't know I need it by visual, I know I need it because that's what's going to happen if I don't give it power. So I'll establish the glide out of power once I make that final turn, and then just pour it in and just try to maintain that. You can't really see the angle, but you can kind of see the speed at which it is going to descend. And so if you can maintain that glide slope, even though you're not seeing it sideways, it's a speed thing.
Yeah, well, and
You're
so
going to be right from the side too.
Knocking my laptop while I'm trying to talk with my hands.
I love that.
Yeah, so I mean, and so in full scale, and it does apply with larger jets and larger scale airplanes, is that, you know, a lot of people will still make adjustments to their approach angle into the runway with their elevator. And the idea is that you can kind of set and leave your elevator alone. And then when the airplane starts to drop a little bit, you're bringing in throttle. If it starts to pick up a little bit and you're dropping, a lot of people don't realize that you're actually supposed to be adjusting that with your throttle and not your elevator, because your elevator is just going to unstabilize your approach.
You know what I tell folks, man? You've probably heard me say it. And I say it all. I would say it all the time in the video. And I've had guys ask me, like, what do you mean by settle in? Like you say, settle in for a nice approach. So what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is what you said. Let the throttle do the work, because you're setting this attitude and you want to keep it. If the airflow is a pair of gloves, right, and you're grooving and it's settled in, you got a nice pair of Dan Marino isotoners on, go win the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you start waffling in the pitch, messing with the elevator, you're getting all out of whack. All your boundary layer is breaking up. You're a mess. That's when oversteering and stuff gets weird.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're, instead of wearing a pair of isotoners, you're wearing like a grocery bag.
Yeah.
or a pair of mittens or something, you know. And as stupid as it sounds, I will use those analogies because I think it helps some people. And it's amazing when you talk this to folks. So many people have never heard it before.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, just like most of us when we started flying, we were like, my plane's broke. It's going left. Like something's wrong with the wheels. My motor's on crooked. Like it happens still to this day for new pilots all the time.
Well, and so back in the product support day, well, there's a guy that I know now. He lives out in Hawaii, and he's been trying to advance his flying. And the more he started talking to support reps, he started talking to me. You know, we called it flying in a vacuum chamber. You know, you don't know what you don't know, and you're trying to be your own NTSB and figure out what you did wrong, but you're just not getting it right because you don't have a trained set of eyes telling you what you did wrong and how you did it that caused the crash. You're just, you know, basing it off what you saw or what you can imagine happened. Right. When you can fly in front of a group of people and they can, you know, an experienced set of eyes starts looking at your plane with you, you start to understand so much more. And these guys that are out flying by themselves, you know, a lot of guys can get through that and get through that hump and become an accomplished pilot. But it's really, you know, a group of guys. And, you know, Ryan, you know, I had a huge, you know, benefit of being able to work with Allie. And any of my pilot skill, I attribute to that man because, you know, he just him being over my shoulder while I'm flying. It's just crazy.
Oh.
He's an excellent teacher, in addition to being an excellent pilot. And the many years I had with him, you know, calling me an idiot and telling me how to figure out what I'm doing and stuff like that really helped out over the years. And
that's fantastic.
It's you know, it's that Olympic environment, you know what I mean? The best in the world go train with the best in the world. I thought I knew about RC before I came to Horizon, and that was a big culture shock. And then I thought I knew about flying before I met Allie. That was another big culture shock, you know.
So he trained you so well that you had to land the 51 for him.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly that.
That's awesome.
It's funny how that works. I mean, and you get used to what you're used to. Yeah. I remember me and Captain Mike we owned Warbirds, tail draggers, dude. I mean, we could work it out time and time again. Our cameras sucked, so all we did was touch and goes and landings anyway, because it's the only good footage we could get. And we always thought you would watch a plane that you like from Banana or Nitro Planes. It's like, here's this awesome, okay video. And then they cut off the landing. It's like, bro, you ground loop the shiz out of that thing. Like, leave it in. And so we were giving folks what we wish we could see ourselves. And we were owning it with Warbirds. And then we had to do a video on a Cessna 182. I'd never flown one. Now, for me, a Cessna 182, I fly backwards in my sleep, upside down. It doesn't matter. And this was after owning these Warbirds, just like time after time, what's supposed to be tough. I could not land that 182 to save my life. I finally figured it out. But it's like, it's funny when, especially we learned in front of everybody. I learned in front of everybody. A year after being into planes, 10 months after starting into planes, I was writing magazine articles. And then a little bit while later, I'm in front of a camera. So it was like everybody saw me learn. And it's funny because you'll have planes where you're like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I remember that snorting bull, dude, P-47 from Park Zone.
Yeah.
I could ace it. And I thought I was something, boy. I thought I was something special. And then I flew other stuff that kicked my ass. And I'm like, okay. But I was glad for it. I'm like, all right, there's a ton to learn. And like your buddy in, what'd you say, Alaska?
Yeah, my buddy Kim in Hawaii, actually.
Hawaii, same difference, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
not really a state. The accelerated learning program of the internet, because I was learning how to fly by myself, but I was hopping in forums. This is, the first social media for most of us, and YouTube, being able to see that, hey, wait a minute, my crashes look a lot like those crashes, and starting to put two and two together. And I was like, there's something to this, because they all look the same, these crashes.
Yeah.
And it was the pulling up too soon, and then all the left-handed business takes over, and it's the left-handed suplex over and over again. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? And dude, I legit went to the library to get books, and I found some old school book on the physics, and it was based at RC, but I read it, and then I started taking lessons for real, and I only got 10 hours or so, but it was enough to make me dangerous, and I took it and ran. I was like, just like looking at a guitar magazine. It's like, I don't care about learning your song. I just want to learn a few chords, and then I'm going to shut the magazine and do what I want. So it's kind of the same. But
oh yeah,
can you imagine learning how to fly without the internet to share with, or veterans at the field?
Oh yeah, my experience was a lot like yours. Is that I just thought it was cool. None of my friends really thought it was cool, so it was just something I was into. And I was running restaurants for a long time. That I was in the hobby, just buying what I could when I could. And I had a friend who told me that, like, hey, you need to go apply to that one place, that hobby place, because you said you would love to work for them. And I was about to move out to the East Coast and start running a restaurant out there. And I just applied and got into product support. I've been in there. I've been there 10 years now, moving to different jobs, getting to have more fun and do less work with every promotion. So
Nice,
bro. I want to go to there.
I want to go to there. I know, man. It's a pain in the ass. Luckily we got to get you in the office more. And I know that's hard being out where you are, but more FaceTime to let the guys know that you're here, that you're working for us, and that we got a good mind over here that wants to do some more stuff.
It's okay. It's I've been underutilized my whole life.
Jeez.
Hey,
that's all right. You're making do with the time otherwise. You know what I mean?
Hey,
not
I'm
too
not
many
blowing
other.
my own whistle. I'm super helpful.
Yeah.
You imagine being an airplane guy who's doesn't know how to set up whatever, or come on, you're leaving with not only are you set up now, but bro, I told you how to come in on your approach.
Yeah.
And not in any kind of egotistical way, just like a true fan who's always been rooting for anybody doing it to find success in it. That's it. That's elite style treatment. Everybody's getting elite style treatment.
Yeah, dude. It was, man, those are the golden ages for me back in, I started it, 2015, because it's been 10 years, and working for support for them, man. It's an art form. It really is. Because I mean, not only do you need to know what you're talking about, you need to figure out what that person is actually doing, because you know what you're telling them, but you need to know, like, I mean, it got to the point where, like, I would know how many scroll beeps it took to get to a certain menu, and I'm like, nope, back up one. Okay, there you go.
That's
like, it's ridiculous, but I love that, man. Yeah, getting people in the air, getting people's RCs running. It's the worst part of the hobby. It really is, because you deal with all the broken messes, all of the I can't fix my toy and I'm mad at you now, and it's part of it. But be able to turn people around by the time they get with the end of the phone call is where it's at for sure, man. That's noble work.
It's at. And I never talk about this here ever out loud till right now.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's okay. There's 11 people here.
For sure.
So after 300,000 views on a post, we got, it's fine. That's how it goes. It's the internet. It's the internet. Yeah, dude. I mean, by the end of it, it's high fives.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's AVC calibration, crawler. I've dabbled in enough to be pretty helpful. And it's pretty good. And I feel like, hey man, get your receipt. That's all we need, man.
Yep.
Receipt.
Dude, if this is an honest mistake, if this is something, if you open the box and it's broken, man, let's get it fixed. Yeah, I'm here for you.
Hey, I just need, it doesn't matter where, just when. Picture, short video. It's 2025. If that pisses you off. Anyway, I've never intended to go there out loud. I don't even want to start, but we should talk. Dude, PS, come on now. You already know that we're talking the good, but holy smokes. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Yeah, but I just, man, I get to go out and play with toys and get them on video now. Man,
that's awesome.
I'm glad to be there myself. Perfect attendance. Let's go.
Yeah, did you get your award cup?
You better believe it. I'm wearing it.
Ah, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and a couple coins to prove it.
Yep. Not me.
Nice.
I was not invited to that party.
You didn't get invited to the perfect attendance party?
No. And I hope to never.
I like your style, man. Hey, I got no context on what I could get away with.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to all the time. All the time.
It's for the best. It's for the best.
Yeah, I think so.
keep your nose clean, as they say, right?
Don't be a rebel like Pete.
Yeah.
Well, don't give them any reason to look at you. Do your thing. Hey, it's cool. I'm old enough to be able to comply. Like, I get the mission. And legit, after the hell of not getting the job, I almost got to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to take that job. They couldn't make it right.
Hey, man, I feel like you probably dodged a bullet at this point.
I think so. And blessings always. And I trust, even though it sucked, I trusted it as I was going through it. And I always end up where I'm supposed to be, even when it sucks.
Yeah.
The hobby shop, that was brutal. But I always knew, and I felt like, and I always wanted to work here also, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, it was in the back of my mind, even when I was messing with those other turkeys. I was like, I'm going to end up there one day.
Heck yeah.
Dude, I remember you telling me that several times, Ryan.
Bro, it's always been there.
Yeah.
And here, hey.
Looky there.
Nice. I'm stoked, man. Look at the buddies I got. Look at this channel, man. I don't even have to do crap, and I have an awesome, fun channel with fantastic folks who come by it. I don't do YouTube right, but it's still going, and we're hanging out around 23,000 subs, just grooving.
Heck yeah.
And look what we're doing, man. Kelly was an airplane guy. I started talking bashers. He was one of the first guys to give me hell about not talking about planes.
Dude, every time Ryan would, start talking about anything surface, I was the first one to just done.
Shut up.
He was out. He was out. And I'm like,
I feel like that's all three of us, right? All three of us were like airplane guys, and now we're all building tiny trucks. That's funny.
Yeah.
Crazy. But there's a lot of airplane guys that are messing with surface. The crossover power is real. When you see your friends having fun with it. And we've got some surface buddies that are paying attention to planes now. There's a great community going on at Urban Legend RC. I don't know if you've ever come across any of those live streams. He does them. It's a whole group of them. It's Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
It's an absolute riot. And they're surface dudes for the most part, but there's some drone and helicopter and boat and stuff in there. But they'll raid. They used to raid my show on Thursday, and then we would raid them back. And Fred came up with the air raid deal. So
nice.
A bunch of us are ended up in each other's stream, and so now we got a ton of surface dudes. A handful that are in real flight with us, gonna be in real flight with us, buying planes, asking us
buying planes.
It's natural too. No one's in there trying to sell anything.
Yeah.
I'm not putting out links or even pimping my channel. It's just you can't help it with the Pilot Ryan. You kind of know where we're coming from. But I'm stuck with that at this point in a way. But it's just all good. No matter how you're enjoying it, whether it's surface or air, dude, there's something for everybody.
Yeah, my basement's split down the middle and half air, half surface, so it works out nice for me. And plus, with the job I have, it's like I have every aspect of RC accessible to me. I got a bunch of RC sailboats, man. If you've never gone RC sailing, that is awesome. That's a whole different, kind of. It's just completely different than any other type of RC. So, stuff like that's interesting. RC paramotors, those are awesome. Just all the weird stuff that I've gotten into.
Awesome. And everything's got a vibe, right? I mean, think about the air. How many different facets of aviation RC or modeling? There's so much more than a lot of people would know. It goes very advanced to very old school, still control line, timed power gliders. I mean, stick and tissue still. I mean, and then this foamopolis of it all as well. And then the resurgence of balsa. We take it for granted. There's a lot of wood choices now, again, that there weren't for a while, it seemed.
The only good thing about that is CA and accelerator versus 30-minute two-part epoxy.
Man, electric retracts, not having to have
pneumatic,
a big channel in the middle where you want your strength hollowed out to have one big servo and the linkages run it.
Yep.
Remember the E-Flight Sea Fury? Remember the E-Flight Sea Fury?
Oh yeah.
It had a servo to run those retracts and then a plastic cover over it.
It's good. Right in the main, the main structure, right in the most
where you
important part.
need this worst spot ever. Yeah, man. Guys, any questions real quick? We've been on for 2 hours. I think we got to wrap it to keep you interested for the next one. Thanks for coming over. Of course, the Sunday show is gone. The Thursday show is gone. Wednesday, I hate missing Harley and Scale Builders, actually, because I used to watch that every time. But it's worth it because I was about to quit, Pete. I was so sick of doing streams by myself. I'm like, I was done.
Yeah.
And Kelly's like, I can do Wednesday. And I'm like, great. Because I asked him to come on Thursdays a bunch, and he did a couple, but it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But Wednesday, dude, it's worth it. I shut it down to. I started the Thursday show because I was sick of hearing guys bitch on the Sunday show when I was talking about trucks. And so now, you know, I've taken it away. We're just doing one night, and I'm so glad to have Kelly over here doing it. Guys, you got any questions for Kelly or Pete? Lay it on us real quick, and we're going to get out of here. These guys don't have any questions because they already are so smart. They know everything already.
They're RC geniuses.
That's why they're here.
I was going to say, there was one thing I was going to say about the finish on the Blazer that I'm super proud of, is that I didn't clear it. I didn't have time to clear it. So the entire finish is 1,000 grit, and it's almost like it's like a DeLorean. It's really cool because if it gets a scratch on it, I can just hit it with 1,000 grit, and it's right back to the same finish as everything else. I could just clear it, and then it won't get scratched in the first place, but I didn't get to that point. So
I love that because
that's great.
You knock down any weirdness, and it's not taken off much. It's like a burnish. It's almost like a dull polish.
Yeah,
is it not?
Yeah, no, it's got a little bit of a shine to it, but it's a dull shine. Yeah,
I love that. And after I gloss red Big Clifford over here, and then I hit it with the matte.
Yeah,
it's still got a shine in it, but it's subdued.
Yep.
That's why. Hey, I'm glad you did that. I'm sorry, man. I don't like shiny Warbirds, and I really don't like shiny trucks.
Yeah.
So you had a nice, solid, sound paint job, but still, I liked it.
It was like in between. It was in between like a dull coat and a gloss coat. And honestly, it was like I could clear it, but the amount of time it would have taken to sand down the clear if the clear didn't lay on right would have put it out of the time scale to get it ready for Beat the Creek. So I was like, no, this looks good like this. It does have a little bit of a shine on it. And yeah, it's not just, shiny gloss crazy at the same time, because gloss is hard to get right. Kelly's getting it right on that.
Yeah,
bug,
he does.
It's hard, especially on these 3D printed bodies, man, because you'll sand it and then you'll get it wet and you look at the reflection of it. And I mean, on that really, really fine gloss clear, you can see every little geometric shape in it if you get it too good.
Pete, did you wet sand that Blazer at all?
Yeah, a bunch, because I wet sanded the primer, which was crazy, but that primer, man, you gotta knock down that primer. It like gets fuzzy. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it like gets a little fuzzy. Yeah. So I would knock that down, and then dude, the coats of blue on it was crazy because you hit it, you sand it down, and you sand through it, and then you're back to primer, and then you hit those areas, and you thicken it up to a point where you can hit it with 1,000 grit. And you can get it down to a uniform finish, but you're not going through the blue. You have enough layer of the blue on there to where you can just hit it and it stays blue, and the black doesn't start coming through. So that was probably about 6 or 7 coats to get, and real thin coats, of course, because you guys know what happens when you put too much paint on it.
Yep. Yes, and not enough, and it's all experiment, and you learn as you go, right?
Dude, there was a story I wanted to tell you guys about that I didn't even realize, because I was doing the airbrush, I was doing the trim lines and everything on it, and my airbrush paint, I had mixed it a little wet. No big deal, just a little on the wet side. And so I'm hitting it with the heat gun afterwards and just trying to cure it off a little bit. And I'm like, wow, this is working really good. So I'm hitting a little bit more with the heat gun, hitting the door a little bit more with the heat gun, and all of a sudden I'm like, what are these lines in the door? What are all these little lines?
The honeycomb?
Yep, I honeycombed the shit out of that door about 2 days before Beat the Creek, so I had to refinish one door completely. But yeah, I have enough layers of UV on there to where it's thickened up. You can't see it anymore. But yeah, that was about 3 days before Beat the Creek that I had hit it like that. Pissed me off, man.
Don't you hate it when shit like that happens?
Yeah.
That hurts my heart for you. That's raw.
Dude, that's what. Now this brown pickup truck bug body, it's my beater truck. I really didn't wet sand anything. It doesn't look like the black one, but I stood it up the other day against my one computer monitor, to be able to put the lights in. I forget if it was in the hood or in the back, whatever. And then I grabbed a hold of it when I was done, set it back down, and I'll be damned, I had like marks in the top down to the primer.
Shit.
Because the paint wasn't full, because I don't have the patience, right? Everybody knows that. I got 50, SCX6 bodies laying here. But then, so today, before the show, I had just got done doing it. It's probably still tacky. And I took and I lightly sanded it and went back at it with the paint. I'm like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but damn it.
The amount of times I sanded that down and repainted it, like if I would nick it on something, I would just be like, yep, there. Another hour of my life.
There's multiple reasons I like that flat. I kind of just like it anyway. And then when I built that first Land Rover, Kelly printed me the parts for the 10 scale Land Rover. I had never done any of this. Put one together, glue it, paint it, never. And I'm like, I know conceptually about finish work, but I'm like, there's no way I'm doing that, so I just on purpose used flat, like green kind of military looking paint and, clear coat, matte, like just everything dull I could do.
Matt, what was it? Adam Savage calls that hiding your crimes, right?
Yep. and I'm like good with that.
Yeah.
And now I'm working these enough. I could almost get away with gloss, but I still don't want it.
Yeah.
I'm like a sun-baked kind of rusty guy.
It's cool with these. Like there's I feel like the three of us have all been there to where, you got a raw piece of a 3D print and you're like, man, how am I going to make this look good? And it's just time and pressure, like making a diamond, man, just over and over again, keep hitting it. And all of a sudden you're like, it's starting to look pretty good. Like, all right, we're getting there. And then once you get one piece looking good, you're like, all right, I can do the rest of this. No problem.
The surprises along the way are so fun. Like I feel like a bodywork archaeologist because, I will paint knowing that I'm just trying to build layers up and I maybe have an idea in mind for what I want it to look like when it's finished, but I'll try other stuff, colors that would look good through it later. Like I'm planning it out and every now and then one of those undercolors, I'm like, hey, that's kind of all right way it is.
Ryan, did you see any of mine when I was sanding through the blue? I almost kept it, dude. It was damn close. It just looks so cool weathered like that. That just because it was blue, then black, then white that I was sanding through. Yeah. It looked really cool.
I was thinking that when you sent me a couple of those pictures, I'm like, that looks pretty good weathered like that.
Yeah.
Dude, this was my first weather job ever.
That's why I wound up with this hunk of junk because I started wet sanding on it and I was like, you know what? I don't hate it.
Yep.
It's so ugly, it's cute.
I kind of maybe overdid this one, but it was the first kit build I ever did. That's a Vanquish Phoenix, and it was the first Lexan body I ever painted. And I overdid it, if you ask me, but I learned a lot too.
I like it, man. I think it looks good. So you painted the outside then, right? So you good at
it? I only paint Lexan on the outside, dude. Because I don't want that shine. It's like that F86 kit build. I painted that on the outside too.
You just use the inside masks on the outside?
I do whatever I got to do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think I masked off black for the weather seal on this one inside. And then I used the mask it came with, I think, on the outside. Yeah. So I think I made my own on the inside, or I reused them. I don't remember what I did now, but I overdid it. But I did paint the inside of the Lexan brown. Should have been more rusty. It's a little too brown for me. This was a Fabrats kind of inspired build. They got a FJ45 on their channel. That's dope.
I think it came out great, man. I heard a story once. You got to be careful painting the outside of Lexan bodies. There's a guy who didn't know what he was doing, and he was painting the outside of his body. He was to go run his truck and didn't realize that he never peeled off the outer film on the peel his whole paint job off.
That I'm glad you said that, because that reminds me of how I did it. I used the window mask
you can just cut
inside,
the film,
and I just cut it on the outside and left that film on. That's what I did.
Nice. Well, yeah,
Awesome.
boys, it's getting to be my bedtime too.
All right, man. Thanks for coming over. That's kind of short notice. You know, you had a viral sensation, and it's like no time like the present.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that other video come out of it.
Oh man,
really cool.
I'm sure. I made a really nice documentary about TJ. There's a little story about him getting into RC and his RC life, and I put that together for him. And then he feels like he owes me one, so he's gonna put something together cool on the SCX6 Blazer. So it should be cool.
Nice.
Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and then look out for that Hawk video that I did. Hopefully that'll be releasing. Like I said, I think it'll be coming out tomorrow morning. Man, such a cool jet. Sometimes I have to do 24 scale crawlers, and that's not always the most exciting thing. When you get a 160 Newton turbine, man, that you get to shoot for the week, that's pretty cool.
Bro,
that's awesome.
Hey, man, literally keep in touch. You know, you guys done a great job to stay in contact. You know,
we're going crawling this summer at least once.
Let's do it.
We got to do some float flying too. So
we got to do some float flying too. Yeah, for sure, man.
Dude, it's so fun. Did you see that Super Timber video we did from his boat?
No, I didn't.
Bro, watch it.
I was gonna say we've done it a couple times out here, and it's been a blast every time. So I just don't have access to a boat anymore until I started bothering Kelly about big scale bodies.
Bro, me and Bobby K went out on the boat with these guys, and Kelly was driving the boat. We were flying next to the boat, but two planes. It was Super Timber and the Twin Timber. Timberectomy, dude. Hey, the video, bro. I mean, we had a lot of fun. We flew from a stationary spot on a sandbar, but that stuff next to the boat was killer, man.
Well, then Bobby was flying back next to us in the dark.
Yeah, he'll do that.
All the way back until I docked the boat at the pier, and then he's still flying, and it was pitch black. I'm like, dude, I don't know how you're doing it.
I get to a point, and I can fly in the dark, but I just don't enjoy it the same. I get to a point where I'm like, I'm cool to watch now.
Yeah. When you're only flying nav lights, it could be more fun when you're just flying nav lights.
You know, and I probably wouldn't crash this and lose it at all in the day.
Yeah.
But I definitely easily could now that I can't see it, and I would rather not. So with that, we're going to say goodbye, folks, and we'll see you in the next one. Check out Horizon on social. You see all kinds of great folks putting out great content and out within the community, capturing other people, sharing their love of the hobby, no matter what it is, whether it's in the water, in the air, or on the ground. I think this 3D printing thing is a fantastic new dimension that you can augment your RC passion with, regardless if you're dressing up trucks or planes or making parts or whatever. We're having a blast over here. Thanks for coming by and sharing it with us. I think this is a great discussion tonight, and glad to have Pete here and Kelly. Thanks so much. Guys, 100%. This is your last chance to say something, because I'm fitting to count it off.
I just want to say thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it, and appreciate the opportunity on Wednesday nights with you. And Pete, pleasure having you on tonight and getting to know you, brother. So looking forward to hanging out some in the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm usually behind the camera. I like being behind the camera. That's where my preferred location. So if you don't see me again, I'll be in the chat I'll be.
But if you want to see him in
trolling
front
you
of the
guys.
camera, there's some old tutorials out there floating around somewhere too that I'm sure he can't stand.
There's you go deep in the YouTube channel for Horizon. you'll
I've
find
seen it.
Oh,
I
man.
every now and then I want to send you a link. I'm like, because it'll come up for me.
Yep,
The stuff
yep.
I'm looking at. And I'm like, I don't think this applies anymore. Like the tech advances so quick.
Yep.
Hey, you guys can stay on real quick. I won't keep you too long, but I'm going to sign off. Guys, thanks so much for coming by. That's it. We're out of here in 5. Hanger Rats forever. We'll 3 you later. You're too good to be forgotten. We will see you next time. Bye now. Boom. Okay.